Oh, I went out on Thursday to a German bar in London, and it was the most fun that I have had in a long time. It was just so good. It reminded me of après ski, had that like ski vibe, that lodgy kind of vibe. It was so good. Like one of my favorite places I've been to. It was just like, yeah, it was like a German bar. They had a live band as well, and the live band were taking requests, and it was fantastic. And we had these two guys sitting next to us on the bench, and it is one of those places where everyone talks to each other. Everyone's in a really good mood. There's a really nice atmosphere. Everyone's chatty, you make friends. You got couples, you got groups of guys, groups of girls. You just got all kinds of people, and you just make friends. It's so nice. So we had these two guys sitting next to us, and one of them was way too cool for school. He was like, really just like, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm kidding. I'm prefacing the story badly. But he was, I didn't realize at the start, like when I first met them, but he was very up himself. He was very egotistical. He thought a lot of himself. He thought he was better than everyone. Because like we spoke to his friend and he just wasn't saying anything. So, you know, you're making conversation because they're both sitting next to you. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, like, what was the exact way? I don't want to like mistell. But anyway, the guy was like, oh, usually I go out in Mayfair, and Mayfair is like expensive part of London, probably the most expensive part. Yeah, one of the most expensive parts of London. Oh, usually I go out in Mayfair, and I, you know, I rub shoulders with really important people, and I don't usually have to speak to women because they just come up to me. Oh my God, he was just so obnoxious. He was the biggest knob ever. Just like, yeah, he was such a knob. That's it. That's all I can say. He was so insufferably egotistical and arrogant, but like in such a snobby, I'm better than everyone else kind of way. And he was like, so I tried, like, you know, just trying to make conversations, like, okay. And his friend was like, oh, can you Google yourself? And I was like, I guess I could type my name in. I don't know what would come up. So let me explain this like kind of backwards. So his opening line was, oh, I make, well, how much he makes, which nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. And then he said, oh, you can Google me. I'm really important. I bet you can't Google yourself, but I come up on Google if you search my name. And me, being silly as anything, I was having a great time. So I just get really happy and chatty, and I didn't see the negative until like over the night. You could tell that this guy was just a douche. He was so like horrible. He was just not a nice person at all. I'm trying to give like examples, but he was really up himself and just really like, just not nice. Just thought like a lot of him and himself. So as they like open, he was like, yeah, you can Google my friend. If you Google my friend, his name comes, like he comes up on Google. And I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then his friend was like, can you Google yourself? And I was like, oh yeah, you can actually. Like me being like really stupid, I didn't understand the ego. I was like, oh well, I kind of do gaming, and like if you search my gamer tag, you can actually, oh my God, like I was just being silly. I did not understand this dynamic. I was being as silly as anything. I was like, yeah, like if you search my gamer tag, I was getting really excited. I didn't think about the ego, all of the ego side of it. I just did not think. I just was like, this is such a random question, but you know what? You actually can. I was like, oh yeah, because I'm in esports, so like I've done competitive gaming and like I stream and stuff. So if you search like my username, I actually come up. And I was just making conversation. I was like, that's so cool that you can Google your name and like da da da. Like I literally was just having the best time. Honestly, just like chatting, like no ego. Like I was not coming from a place of like, oh wow, it's really cool. You could go like, you know, because it's like, it's a gamer tag, you know, like it's nothing. It's like it's no ego stroke or anything. But I just was like, just really naive. I was just being really naive because like they literally like, can you Google yourself? And I was like, oh, no, not my name, but if you use my gamer tag, I had an art, like I've done like a few tournaments. I was just like really excited to be alive. Honestly, I was just being an excited child. And this guy was so angry because I misunderstood the dynamic. It's only until I spent the whole night and I realized what this guy was like. So this was within the first couple of minutes. So he was pissed because he thought he was such this big dick, better than anyone here. He thought it was this really big deal. And here I am going, yeah, you can actually search my gamer tag. Like not understanding that this was supposed to be like, and I'm better than you, I'm thing. And he was so pissed. His line is that you can Google him, like, I'm really important, you should talk to me because I'm Googleable. And then there's me going, yeah, you can actually, because I have a live stream. So if you search my gamer tag, my stream comes up. Just being as silly as arsehole, that was me. And this guy was so mad because he thought he was this big hotshot thing. And also, like, I don't care if you can Google someone. Like, is that a thing as well? Am I just totally naive? But, like, who cares? I don't know. I guess it's because of the industry that we're in. You can Google anyone, they're going to come up. Like, I guess in the normie world, you have so many people who share the same names, right? In our world, yeah, gamer tags are unique. And, yeah, streamers are going to come up and... you know, your YouTube channel will come up. Like, it's not, even if I wasn't in this world, I would not care. Because it's just everybody is Googleable. It doesn't matter, but I guess in the normie world, I don't know. Anyway, literally nobody cares. And I feel so stupid because in the moment, I didn't realize what I was doing by saying, yeah, you can Google me. And they were like, no way. Well, like, yeah, but do you come up within the first, like, few results on Google? Like, you know, when they then tried to dismiss, but that went over my head. This is only hindsight that I realized because I was just having a good time. I was just like, I had loads of energy. I was just having a great time. It went completely over my head. I was like, yeah. And I Googled it and he was fuming. He was like, oh, do you come up on images though? And clicked on images, it's just my face. And he was like, just handed my phone back to him. He just handed my phone back to me and was like, you didn't say anything? I think I ruined his whole night because he thought he was like so much better than everyone. But you want to know the worst part? Do you want to know the worst part, right? At the end of the night, oh, by the way, this guy, so his friend was talking to me. Oh, so they were sitting this side of me and there was a group of girls, guys, people kind of interchanging. We was talking to everyone all night, but his friend was standing next to me. We kind of chatted a little bit, but everyone was kind of chatting in general. And at the end of the night, his friend, the one who you can Google, was like, oh, bet you've had a go. I stayed in my lane all night, by the way. I was dancing on the table. I wasn't dancing with anyone. I was dancing on the table, dancing by myself and chatting as everyone was chatting, just having a good time. And yeah, I was getting people up as well. You know what I'm like? I was like, come dance! Like, and then there was this like girl who looked like she wanted to dance, but she was too shy. So I'm the friend that pulls you up. You know what I mean? Not in a toxic way. Obviously, I'm never gonna make somebody feel uncomfortable. But I was like, come on! Like, I got her up, and then we were dancing, and it was just like, it was so good. It was just such a good time. I had such a good time. At the end of the night, this guy you can Google, he was like, he was pissed because basically he didn't talk to anyone all night and nobody spoke to him. because he was sitting there expecting everybody to come up. Wait, hang on a minute. Was I able to skip that one? Like, he was very pissed because nobody spoke to him all night. And we came out of the toilet and he went, you, oi, like, and I was like, me? He was like, bet you've had a nice time. You've just sat and like, just got attention from everyone all night. Like, I was like, I haven't got any attention. I haven't spoken to anyone other than chatting a little bit to like everyone. But I've been talking to just in general, like everyone's chatting. This guy was so mad that he didn't get any attention all night that he then turned on me. Just, I don't know why I was a target, by the way. So he was like, yeah, right, you've just been leading everyone on all night. And I have not spoken to a guy, by the way. I hadn't had any intimate conversations, no getting to know anyone, like nothing. This came out of nowhere. I was literally just dancing, living my best life, dancing with my friends, dancing with other people, like the girl that I got up on the table. And I was like, what is this Twitter freaking incel behavior? Because he was then starting to sound like a proper like Twitter incel. And he was just clearly mad because he hadn't got any attention all night. So yeah, honestly, I was like, I deal with this kind of behavior all the time. I didn't think I'd go out to a normie bar in the real world and then also have to deal with like this weird mentality. And I was like, then I sat with him and I was like, I just want to understand your thought process, because he was like, yeah, but you spoke to my mate and then you spoke to like another person. And I said, so what do you want from me? Do you want me, if somebody comes up to me and says hi, right, or somebody standing next to me with anyway, am I supposed to tell them to F off? And he said, no. Okay, so should I not say hi politely back? And he said, well, yeah. And I'm like, so what's leading somebody on, right? I haven't flirted with anybody. We haven't said anything that even goes in that direction, because I actually haven't spoken to anyone all night. So I just wanted to understand, like, where are you coming from? And then he was like, he was clearly just having like a hissy fit, and he ended up apologizing. He was like, no, like, I misjudged you. I'm used to women in Mayfair. He brought it up again. Like, I sound like I'm making it up. I'm not even making it up. I'm used to women in Mayfair who are just like gold diggers because I make loads of money, and they only want one thing. Like, and I'm like, this guy has serious issues, because why has that got anything to do with what I'm like? We haven't even spoken all night. I'm like, this is oversharing. Like, why is this has got nothing to do with me? Oh my God, what is going on here? He was just so, it was just so baffling. And then in the end, I'm trying to remember, like, right at the very end what was said. And he was like, oh, you know, and I said, you know, I've been in a relationship forever. I'm just here with my girlfriends, having fun, chatting, dancing, like nothing in that. If anything, I've spoken to the couple next to me more than anything, and this group of girls, more than like any guys or anything. And like, yeah, I spoke to a friend, but he was standing next to me. We also didn't have that kind of like, didn't lead into that kind of direction. It was more like, oh, it's fun here, isn't it? Like, yeah. You know, like, because I've had that conversation with you, am I not allowed to speak to anyone else? What? And then, so then he was like, let me put my name in Google and then you won't, then you know who I am. And I swear to God, that's what he said, like word for word. So I was like, okay. So he Googles his name on my phone, was like, see? And this is gonna make him sound like, you guys are gonna feel sorry for him now, but do you want to know why he comes up on Google? Do you want to know why he comes up on Google? Because he made his own website and the URL is his name, and he made a website talking about himself. So his website that he made about himself is what comes up on the Google search. I swear to God, like, I feel sorry for him saying that, But he was so horrible and so arrogant, and he was so up his own ass. And I was like, after all that, you made your own website with your name just to talk about yourself, and that's why you come up on Google. You've created your own search post, and that's your leading line. That's your, like... I don't know. My name is Peter Stumpbridge, and I'm a person you should know. Below, I will detail why you are lucky enough to have met me. That's literally what happened to me. And on the website, I looked at the website, and it says stuff like, oh, yes. He talks about himself in the third person. So, like, let's say his name was Peter Stumpbridge. Oh, Peter Stumpbridge excelled in school, doing far better than anyone around him, top of his class. He launched his own school into supremacy with how well he did compared to the rest of the country. Like, it was like car salesman talk, basically. Oh my God. So his his website was just talking about himself. Award-winning entrepreneur was the tagline. I don't know what he does. He makes websites so that people can Google themselves. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good business. Oh, we're on to something here. We should run a business making websites so that people can Google their names and they come up on the search results. He did award himself. I feel bad laughing at him because, like, I feel really mean laughing at that last bit, but because I saw how he acted, I saw how rude he was and how horrible he was and how rude he was to me as well. Like, he was angry at me. I was a target. At the end of the night, he was really angry that he didn't get with anyone, but also didn't speak to anyone. And he was clearly mad. And then he took it out on me and was like, oh yeah, you've been dancing all night, like leading everyone on. And I'm like, who am I leading on? My girlfriends. That's who I've been dancing with. You're so attention seeking. I'm like, what, for dancing? Is everyone attention seeking then? Like, he was just saying things that weren't true. I mean, it would be different if I made out with his friend and then like made out with the guy next to me and then made out. But also, like, if you want to do that, like, I'm all for it. All right. My girlfriend did that. And I was like, get in there. I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, all power to you. All right, shall we switch over? I genuinely didn't do anything. Like, I purposefully didn't speak to anyone other than just having fun, chatting, like, oh, where are you from? To, like, for example, the couple or the girl that I pulled up. And, like, I was talking to girls mostly because, like, all my friends are girls. I feel more comfortable around girls anyway. If he tried this and felt humiliated without being rude, I'd feel bad. He turned on you as your fault. Yeah, I know. It was so, like, oh, it really put a dampener on my night because I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, if I'm leading people on or being attention seeking and I don't know, I want to know because I don't want to lead anyone on. It wasn't my intention to even talk to anyone, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, if I'm leading people on, that is so unintentional and I want to know so that I don't do that. But there was no merit to what he was saying because I genuinely wasn't doing that either. So it's different, like, if he had, like, a point or he had, there was some truth in it. But also, like, oh, because I smiled at you, like, now I'm not allowed to talk to anyone else? Or now, like, I'm your property because you said hi to me and I said hi and I was being nice and I smiled back and I was just not rude. Like, do you want me to just be rude? Do you want me to tell everyone F off who says hi? Because I just didn't understand his point. It was proper, like, it was very incel-y. It gave me, like, very incel-y Twitter vibes. It was not a good experience. And it was just the icing on the cake that this whole shtick about I'm really important, you can Google me, like, that was his thing. And he didn't speak to anyone all night. And he was so angry that nobody spoke to him because apparently in Mayfair, all the girls only speak to him. Oh, I've just remembered something he said. He said, girls queue to speak to him. I sound like I'm making it up. I know how it sounds, but I swear to God he said that. He says he gets so much attention that girls queue and speak to him in Mayfair. You could almost like feel sorry for him for how insecure he is, but if he wasn't a massive dick, I'd actually feel sorry for him, but I don't because he was a dick. Anyway, I don't know how I ended up telling this story, but my night out was very entertaining, but the rest of it was amazing. Honestly, I had the best time at this place.